Oh my goodness, you've got high cholesterol levels. Quick, hide, get the drugs. You're watching the Natural Medicine Podcast, and in tonight's episode, we are going to be delving into the murky depths of the world of cholesterol and what the heck is wrong with that world. So, my name is Harun Rabbani. I am a specialist in helping people reduce and reverse type 2 diabetes, and I am joined by Dr. Ashish Paul, who is, you're supposed to
I
say it straight away.
yes, I
Who
specialize in
is?
natural fertility. Good evening, Harun. Good evening, everybody who's listening now or on the replay. And it's wonderful to be here.
Fabulous. So, cholesterol is something that has entire books and tomes have been written about it. And I want you, as a listener or as a viewer, to be very skeptical. Here's why. Don't trust anything we say. Go and do your own research. But guess what? I want you to apply that in every aspect of your research, including every other alternatives and mainstream, etc. Question everything.
Hmm.
And although I'm working in the field of health and I have been in the field of medicine and health since 1996, I was actually an economist. And one thing we learned was this as an economist is always follow the money. Hint, hint, follow the money, see who's going to gain from stock. Okay, so cholesterol, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Why do we even need cholesterol, Ashish?
Why do we need cholesterol? We need cholesterol, all our cells. What we say, the cell membranes are bound by what we call lipoproteins. Lipo means fat. So it is through fat that the exchange happens in and out of our cells. So without fat, we will not be able to do any nerve conduction. All types of nerve conduction in the body, it happens through fat, in the medium of fat. Yeah, our brain is kind of soaked in fat. We need cholesterol for hormones. We need cholesterol for our brain function. And one of the things that is linking, people who have got Alzheimer's, dementia, and we are getting more of that, is when people are eating low-fat diet and they're not really eating good. Of course, we are not talking about eating kilos of fat and just sitting on it. You have to be sensible about it. As long as you have good amount of fat, but you also have good amount of exercise, that's when it is not going to be damaging for you. But we need fat or cholesterol for all types of our body functions, especially to do with brain function.
One thing about brain function that a lot of people probably aren't aware of is that the insulation sheath that goes around your nerve cells, it's called the myelin sheath, it's made out of cholesterol. And in fact, the brain is made out of approximately 70% cholesterol. As a result, 20% of all the cholesterol in your body is in the brain. So to get rid of cholesterol is an absolute nonsense idea. However, there's two types of cholesterols, of course. There's the good cholesterol and the bad one. The bad one is LDL. So let's talk a bit more about, I don't want to go into too much of the science, but because I want to make this easily accessible for the masses.
Yeah.
Which is this. So we're taking some questions that were sent, which is someone is asking, I eat well. And why is my cholesterol level so high, even though I'm eating well?
Oh, well, I'm sure you can answer that as well. We both will answer that. But it is to do with, it is to do with your gut. All diseases come from the gut imbalance. So that means that your digestive system is not balancing very well. The food that you are eating, it is not getting metabolized properly, which is why there is this imbalance of cholesterol is much higher than what it should be. Second thing is when you're not eliminating very well. So many people who have got constipation issues, we know that. And even when they think they're eliminating once a day, it is not good elimination. Yeah. So elimination is...
But by the way, that means for anyone, I know Dr. Ashish
stools.
likes to be clear. Stools, going for a poo. going for a dump. That's what she needs. Carry on. I'm
Exactly.
sure most of you know what it is, but it's just there's one or two people who think like me.
No, thank you for clarifying. But it is to eliminate, because when we are eliminating, we are metabolizing, the food gets digested, some part of it is, which is waste. It goes out of the system via the stools. And of course, urine is another one. We talked about elimination, 4 channels of elimination. But if your gut is not working very well, it is not healthy enough, and most people don't know this because they think their gut is fine, that is when we have this imbalance where cholesterol, you are eating really well, you think you are eating really well, but it is high. And of course, you can talk about the lifestyle factors, Harun.
Yeah, so one of the issues is, of course, like exactly as you said, a lot of people assume they're eating well. I want to give you an example. It included me. So this is 1998. I was selling medical equipment for Olympus Key Med in the north of England. I used to go to the gym just to do weights. I used to love my weights. And we used to have an annual health check. And that year I got my annual health check and my cholesterol levels were sky high. And I couldn't understand why the heck my levels are high. But 2 things. First of all is what I did about it. One thing I did about it is exercise. We'll come on to that in a moment. The other thing, which I know now rather than way back then, is my diet consisted of a lot of white rice and curry and naans, sandwiches in the middle of the day, when I was traveling between hospitals. So my nutrition was absolute rubbish. Morning breakfast used to be breakfast cereals, the sweet ones. Basically, it's kind of, I want to puke just talking about them now, really. It's that horrible, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for you to assume you're eating the wrong foods. And we'll talk about some of the wrong foods in a minute. But in terms of lifestyle choices, a very big lifestyle choice is this. You could be eating in your mind very well. I've just demonstrated quite often we're wrong. But the other thing is, if you're not exercising, you need to exercise. You as a human being, over hundreds of thousands of years, you were not developed to sit on a couch, eat microwave food whilst watching television, and then during the work hours, sit on a chair in front of a screen, glued to the screen for 6, 7, 8, 10 hours, whatever amount of work that you do, and then sit in your car and drive back home. I sit on a bus. We were not designed to do that. No man, no woman. And our bodies are suffering as a result of that. So exercise is absolutely vital. But the other thing, of course, we weren't designed to smoke cigarettes and cigars and whatever it is that people smoke nowadays. So again, that is going to affect your cholesterol level. And a third one, which I want to touch upon before we move on to the next area, which is alcohol. Now, alcohol in some religions are banned completely, and generally those, even if it's allowed, it needs to be taken in very, very moderate quantities. You have to be very mindful, but that's going to have effect on your blood pressure. And one more thing though, that'll affect your blood pressure and cholesterol, but one more thing is your stress levels as well. Your stress levels is going to affect your hormonal balance massively. So please keep that in mind. So
actually, just to add to that is it's not the cholesterol itself. It's when you have inflammation of any kind, and we have this what is called inflammatory plaques in our arteries, in our veins, in our body overall. Those inflammatory plaques, when it gets sticky somewhere, and is sticking out, it interrupts, for example, the flow of blood. That is, and because fat cells are, cholesterol is made of fat, and it is going to stick to that inflammatory plaque and obstruct wherever it is. So that is the whole mechanism of it. It is not the cholesterol as such, is the inflammation which is causing the damage, and then cholesterol then stick to it, and then it becomes double whammy.
Absolutely, and so just to put it, just imagine a tube. I don't know if you've ever had a bicycle and the inner tube. Imagine, right, you have an inner tube, and there's a little hole in it. So you're going to put you got to repair some kind of rubber on there. But if you have to put more and more rubber, then it's going to eventually leave very little space for air to flow. And
Yeah.
so when you have some kind of damage, a cholesterol buildup, it's there for good reason to support it. But of course, as you continue mistreating your body through the foods and the lack of exercise, that's when you start building up the cholesterol and causing high blood pressure. There was a study, a massive study done a number of years ago, and they wanted to look at the healthiest hearts in the world, and way ahead were the Timene tribe in southern Bolivia, where they found that the women and the men walked approximately the same. I think the women did about 16,000 steps a day, and the men did about 17,000 steps a day. They were hunter-gatherers, they'd forage, and their heart of a 50, 60, 70-year-old was healthier than the average 20 to 25-year-old in the United States.
Yeah.
And very big part of that is the walking that they did. They, of course, have 75, 76% plant-based, nuts, seeds, fruits, and other vegetables, and fruits and vegetables. And then the 24% were fish and meat. So walking every day is absolutely vital. So let's talk about statin drugs. Statin drugs is very much something that's offered to a lot of my clients, who have got type 2 diabetes and they want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on statin drugs? Are they good for you?
Statins are not good in the long run. We know that they have many side effects. One of the key side effects that I know of, and it is a big one, is that it affects the sexual performance in men. It affects the erection in men. So it is due to not excessive use, but use of statins, and use of statins over longer term. Because once you start using statins, it kind of, you are stuck with it. Doctors will not take that off, because they're not going to recommend any dietary lifestyle changes or anything like that. So you are stuck with those statins kind of forever. It's like, okay, keep your cholesterol level low. What you do need is, you need to keep your inflammation level low, and you need to do exercise so that that cholesterol is healthier cholesterol. But yeah, what do you say? What do you say?
Well, statins, in essence, kills it's like a poison that kills the liver enzyme in the liver, which creates cholesterol. And 100% agreed. It's statins. Cholesterol is involved in progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So sexual health is affected. And so one of the big issues for people with type 2 diabetes, at least we know they have sexual health issues. Erectile dysfunction is exceptionally common in men with type 2 diabetes. So statins itself, it's like anything. This is why we're doing this podcast. It's like anything. Most chronic health conditions, in fact, all of them, are lifestyle choices, which can be reversed. But you have to take the right actions. And so before jumping onto statins, which have many side effects, and I'll name a few. This is the official ones that are named, by the way: headache, dizziness, feeling sick, feeling unusually tired or physically weak, digestive problems such as constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, farting, muscle pain, sleep problems, low blood platelet count. That's just official stuff. That's the stuff that they talk about. There's a whole bunch of stuff which we aren't going to talk about. What we want to focus on is, what can you do about it? So again, taking another question, and I'm going through my questions here. One of the questions is, what's good cholesterol versus bad cholesterol? We've already touched upon it, which is bad cholesterol is your LDL cholesterol. Now, what can you do about it? So exercise, I already mentioned, not just walking, but any form of exercise, running, cycling, aerobic, yoga, all of these things are absolutely good. But let's talk about diet first of all. So from a traditional, conventional perspective, because I want to come on to Ayurveda in a minute. So what you want to eat is monounsaturated fats like olive oils, nuts such as almonds, cashews, pecans, macadamias.
All types of nuts.
Yeah. Avocados, nut butters, and olives. Those are good. Now, the amazing stuff to go for are the omega-3 fatty acids, which is brilliant for brain health. So I mentioned avocado, amazing, absolutely amazing. If you can get hold of it. Salmon, mackerel, herring, deep sea tuna like bluefin. This is really expensive stuff. And some shellfish. Now, I'm very much a bit of a conservationist in the sense that if you're going to go for any of the it's not fishes, go for the wild caught, so not the farmed ones. So I saw a documentary, and I forget the name of it now. I think it's something Seaspiracy. That's the one, Seaspiracy. Brilliant documentary, well worth watching. One of the things they were talking about was that the salmon farming in Scotland produces more effluent than, so this is just for fish breeding, by the way, more effluent than the entire human population produces sewage. That's how much it's that bad. So avoid like the plague. And I'm sorry, Scottish people, it's not an attack on you. It's just the farming methods. So please go for wild ones. And again, it's about eating in moderation. But there's one thing you must avoid. If you've got cholesterol problems, there's one thing you got to avoid like the plague, which is trans fat. Do you want to say something about trans fat?
Yes, trans fats is your stuff like margarine, making it easier for people to understand what is a trans fat. Any kind of butters which are spreadable, all kinds of spreadable butters, the way they are made, and also because they don't solidify and they just remain like that even in winter. I would rather warm my butter and use it properly than having a butter spread or having a margarine. I've never eaten margarine, but margarine is one of the trans fat product, and trans fats which are not recognized by your body as proper fat. And there are a lot of cancers that are linked with trans fats. There is inflammation that is linked with trans fat, and inflammation that lead on to other things. So please eat proper butter. Make ways to make it softer in winter, because that's one of the reasons why people eat all those spreadables. Or even when you have these spreadables where it is margarine but they have added extra omega-3 to it, don't do it, because it's like adding omega-3 to poison. So please don't eat that. But other thing is to eat according to your body mind constitution, my favorite topic.
Well, we'll come back to that, but one of the things I want to say is there was a whole bunch of studies done, I don't know if it was the 50s or whatever, led by someone called Ansel Keys, and there's entire books about, a book that I read, and I forget the title of it, but it is about the whole myth around fat. And in essence, it was a political exercise. It's all BS.
We know that.
Yeah.
The recent study that came out, it's not that recent now, I think about 5 years ago, the myth of cholesterol. It was the major study that came out, and they found that actually cholesterol doesn't cause the heart condition. It's the inflammation that is causing the heart condition.
It's the inflammation. And inflammation is an important terminology you must keep in mind. This is something that is the precursor to just about every single chronic disease you can think of. So not only margarine, but there's also shortenings and pastries and other baked goods. Some microwavable popcorn has trans fats, fried fast foods, trans fat, because they want to go for the cheapest thing, right? So
it is, and also trans fat, and also the refined fat of any kind. The more refined the any kind of oil is, it's not good for you. You need the virgin oils of all kind, or cold pressed oils.
So some pizzas, particularly the ones that are frozen, and also non-dairy coffee creamers as well, are made from trans fat. So
Oh,
And if you are going to eat butter, then go for preferably grass-fed butter. And in the UK, and we're not promoting any brands, but there is only one brand I found that does that, which is Kerry, Kerry, which is an Irish butter, actually. I
Irish
don't know if
butter.
it's called,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called Kerry or Irish butter, but it's called Kerry.
Kerrygold is called Kerrygold.
Kerrygold. Okay, there you go, Kerrygold. I will stick a picture on here.
I know the butters.
Okay. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, and so the next thing is eat soluble fibers. So this is useful for everybody, not just people with type 2 diabetes who I work with. Eat soluble fibers, and you're going to find this. This is for cholesterol, of course, balancing your cholesterol. Oat cereal. So we're talking about porridge, basically.
Yeah.
Beans and lentils, Brussels sprouts, fruits, peas, flax seeds. Talk to us about. Oh yeah, well, one thing: health, weight. If you now cholesterol, certain things you see makes me think what people. There's a friend of mine. I'm muttering. I'm thinking in my head. So there's somebody I know who clearly is overweight, like lady, clearly overweight, not doesn't live too far from me. Someone I know, professional person, very intelligent. And I asked this question. This is about, I don't know, a year ago. I said, "How's your health?" She's walking up and down the stairs, panting like like that. She can barely breathe properly, and I would say her BMI is probably about 30 or something. So kind of really overweight. She goes, "Oh yeah, I felt healthy. I'm fine." And I'm like, "Oh Lord."
Yeah.
We delude ourselves. So although the BMI index isn't the best indicator, well, it's not extremely accurate, it's an indicator. So look at your height, look at your weight, find the BMI calculator on the internet, in Google, and then work out your BMI, BMI. So if your BMI is above 25, that's already indicating you're not in the healthy range. You want to bring it closer to 20 than anything else. And it's different for men and for women. So make sure you look at the BMI calculator and then look at your age and then cross-reference it and find what's right for you. It's very important. That already gives you an indicator. If you're obese, you're overweight, that's going to indicate you've probably got maybe too much of the bad stuff. And so it's so critical that you focus. If you can do it more on the foods element and the exercise, then you prevent having to do medication. You prevent yourself from seeing either medical doctors or holistic health specialists like myself and Dr. Ashish. So talk to us about, I know you were teasing already earlier on, which was about eat according to body constitution. How does that make a difference to cholesterol levels?
It makes a difference by understanding how your body works. So if you know what kind of body constitution you have, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Vata, Pitta, Pitta, Kapha, you know what kind of mixture you have, what foods are good for you and what foods are not really good for you, how much fat you should be eating. If you know that you are a Kapha person, already you have that heavy tendency, sluggish tendency of your, your digestive system, then you need to understand to have less fatty food. And also you have to make sure that you're eliminating very well and your gut is working not as sluggish. Similarly, you need to understand what is your weakness, what is your good points, what are your bad points, how is your body stressing out, how do you de-stress, because stress is one big factor for inflammation. So whenever you are stressed, doesn't matter what kind of stress, if you perceive it to be stress, then it is stress for you. It could be the teeniest thing, but if you are a person who perceive that to be as the biggest threat, stress of your life, then that is how your body perceives it. It sees it as a threat, and that is when you increase all those inflammatory processes in your system. So understanding our body, our mind, how we work and function as a human, there is huge chance that you can then work on your diet. You know that these foods are not really good for me, not in this quantity, not at this time of the day. So all Kapha people, for example, should be eating the least amount of dinner. So if they are having really big meals late in the evening after 7 o'clock, then you know you are inviting cholesterol and such issues. So it is crucial from natural medicine point of view to understand how your body is functioning, how your mind is functioning, so you can make best use of the resources that you have, and you're not wasting time, also that you can enhance the functioning of your system.
What about breathing? How much of a role does breathing have in cholesterol? Obviously it's a loaded question because I know it does have loads of impact, but go ahead.
I absolutely love breath work because it is an answer for almost every disease. Why? Because every disease is psychosomatic. It starts in the head. So there is something that is happening here, or there are stresses of all kinds, or that you are not, there is too much going on with what you're doing. And for that, breathing works really well. It has direct advantages and also indirect advantages for the time that you make it. When you're breathing, you are mindful, you're doing those practices as a meditation kind of process. You can do that, that way. So breath work is crucial to also, we know that it increases nitric oxide production in the body, and that is what helps the aging process. It reduces that, it reduces the it increases the cellular function, or the cellular cellular function or optimization of your cells. And that comes from simple breath work. You don't even have to take anything. I know how many supplements there are out there which are talking about nitric oxide. Yeah, it gives you nitric oxide. You can do it simply, cheaply. The cheapest way of doing that is breath work. Keep doing consistent amount of breath work, and it works on all different. It works on the physical health, it works on the mental health, it works on the spiritual health, it works on your emotional health. And that way you can then control your cholesterol. It is not a quick fix. Yeah, we are not talking about you start doing breathing work today and in a week's time you think, oh, my cholesterol hasn't reduced, so I'm going to stop breath work. It's not that. We are looking at 6 months to 1 year at least of using any natural medicine, any natural therapies, any natural resources consistently every single day.
Well, putting that into context, if you were on statins, you're on statins for life.
Yeah.
With all the side effects, and some of the side,
So rather be on breath work for life,
Yeah, exactly, because without the breath, you're dead anyway. So, I mean, one of the issues though with all these side effects, and I'm going to do a video on this actually separately on the other channel that I seem to be very popular on, which is how all the side effects affecting people are actually totally demoralizing them, leaving them into a space of anxiety and then depression as well.
Yeah.
And so, for me, what natural medicine brings is hope.
Yeah.
But not just hope based on, blind faith, but hope that actually based on the fact that hope for you, because provided you take the actions, provided you do the work, so the breath work, then provided you do the exercise, you got to stop eating the crap. Let's not play about. If you don't stop eating the crap, then it's a bit like, you're doing on one hand, you're doing some good stuff, the other hand, you're putting poisons into your body. So you've got to stop doing that. There's no two ways about it. The big issue isn't willpower. No, isn't will it work or not. No, it's your mindset. And the mindset is going to be, you know what? I've made a decision. I'm cutting off all other options. This is the path I choose. I choose the path of good health, optimal health. So if somebody has got cholesterol levels, oh, you're going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to add here is that anybody who's on these horrible drugs, statins for cholesterol, and with statin goes the blood pressure medication, with that goes the other medication, or maybe you're taking medication for diabetes as well, it just the whole thing. You can work with natural medicine. Natural medicine includes therapies and herbs and breath work and yoga and everything together. Yeah. But go to a practitioner, go to a trained professional like myself, like Harun, who can actually provide you with the proper information, not a hearsay, not because your auntie said or your uncle said or somebody told you, that this is good for you. No, it may not be good for you at all. So a professional can save you a lot of time. So what I normally, the way I recommend is that you take you whatever drug you are taking, you keep taking them, and then start taking natural medicine with it. Yeah, start doing all the natural things alongside. Slowly, of course, with the discretion of both practitioners, your medical doctor and natural medicine doctor, then you can slowly maybe come to a point where you can reduce the dosage of your drugs. Never do it by yourself. And at the same time, never take just over the counter herbs, because they are not really helping you.
No, exactly. And this is the thing, it's very easy to get whole herbs over the counter and do the wrong thing with it without the professional guidance. So
Yeah.
if someone's accumulated as a result of the cholesterol, high levels of bad cholesterol, they've got a poor balance, or they've been on a lot of medications, how do we get rid of it? What does Panchkarma have to say about it?
I think there are a lot of herbs actually. Cholesterol can be very, very well managed and reduced with herbal medicine as well. You have to take responsibility of your diet. If you are not going to work on your diet and nutrition and other lifestyle factors, then herbs and natural therapies can only go that far. If you want the 100% result, you can absolutely reduce cholesterol with natural medicine, without doubt. And we do have a lot of herbs that we give for internal use in various forms. You can take them. And as I just mentioned, you can take them along with your drug medication to start with. And slowly you drop drug medication. You ask your doctor that, now my cholesterol is good or it's dropping. Can we drop the medication? So slowly, with doctors' permission and natural medicine practitioners' permission. Don't do it by yourself.
So can we use ghee instead of butter?
Absolutely. Ghee and butter. And if you are sensible in your daily routine, in your cooking, that does not add to extra cholesterol. It is the burnt fat that people are using from the takeaways and the fries and the low, what we call the no fat products that people are using, thinking that they are good for them. They are not. They are causing inflammation in your body, and they are making everything stick, which is not healthy. So having ghee, cooking in ghee is not going to, again, it is about quantity. How much ghee are you going to use? To 1 tablespoon of ghee? Yeah. If you're cooking any curry, you don't need more than that. So good fat is good for you. We are talking about the saturated fat with takeaways and fries, and all of that is the bad fat. And a lot of cheese, of course, people who eat lots and lots of cheese.
Yeah, so the dairy is very inflammatory certainly for a lot of people. Is there? So my question was detoxification. How do people?
Oh,
detox?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I totally forgot. So, yes, we spoke about detoxification, in our other episode about Panchkarma as well. We are also looking to do a detox program with people who are interested to do that. That is something that everybody must do once a year. This is like a recharging, recalibrating your body, recalibrating your whole system, where you are under practitioner's guidance for a week or maybe longer if your schedule permits, and then work with your bodily functions. Double check how your diet has been over the last year or so, and then recalibrate. It is about making mindful choices. So detoxification works. We can detox with herbs, with diet, with natural medicines, with therapies. For example, sauna or herbal steam would work really well in terms of detoxifying. And it helps also to reduce the fat, to reduce the cholesterol. So it is possible, and detox is something that everybody should do once a year.
Beautiful, wonderful. So we covered quite a few things, and I think
What other question was there?
I think we covered the main questions in all that we said, which includes why is cholesterol so bad, even if I'm eating good foods?
Right.
Do statin drugs help reduce cholesterol? Why do we need cholesterol? We even covered that. That was a question that was asked, but you already answered it without having been asked.
Yeah.
What's good versus bad. So they're the main questions that were asked. So in summary, cholesterol isn't bad for you, but there are certain bad cholesterols. And in summary, you can actually reverse all of that. I've done it. There's plenty of people who've done it, but what you've got to do is get plenty of guidance from someone who knows their stuff, and
Yeah.
make sure it's a lifestyle change. If you have the determination and the desire to change your lifestyle, then you can have your life back. Very easy.
Yeah, I think it is the first thing to start is to look at is your diet. That is the first starting point. And with diet, you need to look at, of course, you need to look at your body mind constitution, who you are as a person, and then look at the foods that are good and bad for you. You have to look at the timing of the food. What time are you eating? You have to specifically, regarding cholesterol, you need to look at the portion size that you're eating. Yeah. And all the fatty products which are excessively fattening, for example, the cheese. And if you're drinking a lot of milk, milk itself is not really fattening, but it is the pasteurization of the milk which causes the issue. So I was going somewhere with this point, but I've just lost the point. But you got to work on your diet. It's always the first protocol that you need to work on. And diet is something that's going to take you good 3 to 6 months to really work on, understand that this is actually not good for me. Or when I eat a lot of cheese, I get constipated, for example, or I get a lot of wind. And then understand what foods are good for you and eat them at the right time, in the right quantity, in the right combination, cooked in a proper way, cooked with good oils. It's crucial. All these little points, when they are done consistently over days and months, they have an impact. So as Harun has said, you can reverse your cholesterol and very well control it purely with diet. And then, of course, further herbs. But you have to be committed, consistently doing the work.
Fabulous. Dr.
And
Ashish, so
what would you add to that?
you're gonna say something else. I was gonna end it there. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, what do you have to add to that?
I think it is number one thing is to take personal responsibility. If you really want your health back, see the mindset, at least in the UK, because I grew up here since I was a kid, the mindset is pop something into your mouth and you'll be fine. And we've been conditioned, brainwashed to think like that,
Yeah.
rather than say, hey, hold on, I'm the one who created this, then I'm going to be the one who's going to change it.
Yeah.
Not be a victim of circumstance, because you're not a victim. You've just made little decisions all the way throughout your life and you've never looked at it. I mean, I've got a nephew who he has severe eczema.
Yeah.
But my goodness, that guy likes to eat fried foods. He goes to the fat buns or something like that. It's called, like, they do fried foods. He had wheat. I know he's dairy intolerant. I know he's gluten intolerant, but he's eating all the crap that makes him get worse and worse and worse. And so he's got quite a bit of autism actually as well. So, he's forgiven. But the reality is this, that if you've got your senses together, then you are going to prevent so many of the diseases further down the line as a result of poor choices now. So my point, and to conclude, is take responsibility for your own health.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. So work on your cholesterol naturally. You can reduce it. You can control it very well with natural medicines. Go and seek help of a professional, because this is an area where you probably are taking drugs and you would not want drugs and herbs to contradict with each other or cause what we call adverse reaction because of them. And certain foods can actually cause an adverse reaction as well. So work with a professional, and it is very much possible to control it even without any drugs.
So we're coming towards winter very quickly. Winter is coming. And so next week, our episode is going to be on boosting your immune health. So make sure you join us live or recorded, but live is always good because then we can take your questions. So thanks once again, Ashish, for joining us. And thank you for watching or listening. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.